What is going on, everyone? Welcome to week 4 of the BBR against Shayquaza, coach of the Dallas Starmies. We are 3-0, and so is Shay. So this is going to be the battle for quite literally top seed in the tournament. There's other people in the other division who are also undefeated. That being said, both Shay and I actually have differentials so far ahead of them that this is definitely 100% the fight for a first seed, at least at this point in the week. So, definitely a scary game, but also one that is somewhat refreshing, i.e. the winner of this game, probably will get gloating rights for a little bit. The winner of this game will probably get, all these things. But in all essence, we've both sort of put ourselves in a very favorable position. So it's much less of an important game than other games down the line will be. That being said, still one that I, on a personal level, very, very much want to beat. Last time I played Shayquaza, I lost because there was a 94% roll that was in my favor and Shay got it, and I got swept by a Magirna. So it's sort of just been itch in the back of my mind. I've been meaning to scratch a little bit. That being said, it wasn't necessarily that fruitful of a game against Shay, and I'm hoping that this one is going to be more so of one, and I definitely think it is, so can't wait to show it off to y'all. But I will show you the team that I end up bringing now. Shay is definitely a potential playoff opponent, so I actually severely mitigated what I thought was the best brings against him and opted for sort of some interesting sets that were sort of my first glance sets as opposed to some more sets that I've thought about as time has gone on. But these are the sets that I'm bringing this week. We have a defensive Mew with dual status. The idea is that you can Will-O-Wisp the Tyranitar, which is the only Psychic resist, Thunderwave the Omega Gardevoir, which is the other Psychic resist, and other than that, Psychic hits everything else, and you can Soft Boiled off on it. Tanga Berry allows you to take a hit from Scolipede and fire back with a Psychic. Now the next mon is Kartana. It does run the Chople Berry for the Infernape, I believe. Having something like Mach Punch or a Vacuum Wave is very scary, and a Vacuum Wave from a Life Orb modest Infernape to this set I believe does about maybe 60%. So still very scary, but having the Chople Berry is very, very nice and very cool. The coverage is basically there for his entire team. I was between Sacred Sword and I forget which one of the 4 moves, but pretty good. I don't think I even showed you his team. Maybe I did. I probably had it up and didn't explain it, but this is a team on the right here. I'm not going to do much explanation, but the great thing about Kartana is it can so easily come in and revenge something like Mega Gardevoir, Infernape if it's not Scarf, Sylveon, etc. So Kartana is very, very cool here. The next mon is Heatran, a Choice Scarf set with Flash Cannon, Lava Plume, Earth Power, Fire Blast, EV to outspeed a max speed Scolipede, and yeah, Flash Cannon, Lava Plume, Earth Power, Fire Blast, Scarf Heatran. A regular, very sub-toxic Protect Suicune there just to sort of, once again, his team doesn't really appreciate status, so just laying some more Scald switch-ins and toxicking things is very nice. This is my ROTOM-MOW answer. I looked at my team and actually found that ROTOM-MOW was somewhat of a relatively strong threat. Hariyama always switches into it. Leaf Blade does, or Leaf Storm does about 30% maximum if he's an offensive set, but obviously there's this attack drop after that. Hariyama fires back with some really, really nice coverage. On top of that, it does live a Hyper Voice, it does live a Psychic, it does not live a Psy Shock, but yeah, that is Hariyama. The next and final mon is Aerodactyl. Aerial Iron Head, and Fire Fang achieved perfect coverage against Shay's team, and then Stealth Rocks was there to get up rocks on a predicted switch-in. So that is the team, and we will get to the game against Shayquaza, which is quite a good one. And I will see you all later. Alright, we are here up against Shay. Pretty much expected everything that he brought, especially given the Rotom. The one thing that is shocking is the Drampa here, and we see the Drampa. We see it over the T-Tar, which was a little bit unexpected. Everyone in my mocks brought T-Tar just to handle Mew and things like Heatran, but he ended up going with the Drampa instead, which is absolutely fine with me. It's not something I have amazing coverage for, but it's something Hariyama and Suicune handles pretty well once it Toxics. Everything else makes perfect sense in my mind that he brought. I was a little bit iffy on whether Metagross would come, because I do think between Mew and Suicune I do have my checks for it, but other than that, makes perfect sense. So we're gonna go up in this game against Shayquaza here. I didn't really entirely know what to lead off with. I sort of just decided my safe option here was Mew, And the reason I lead Mew is basically because if he leads Mega Gardevoir and is like, I want to get my, Mega off right away, or if he leads, Scolipede and wants to set up hazards, I think Mew is a good option to just Will-O-Wisp or whatever. But he actually leads this as Rotom, and this actually damage reveals to be max special attack. So I already know that right away, and knowing sort of my team composition and what's sort of incentivized to be brought against my team, I had a feeling it was a Scarf Rotom, given that's what Zombie brought against me too. That's also what I sort of expected in Mox. So I should have predicted the Volt Switch very, very easily and just gone for a Will-O-Wisp, but in all truthfulness, I was sort of flustered during this point of the game. I think we had DC'd once, and I was just sort of like, wow. Actually, no. This happened in the early game, so no excuses there. No excuses there. Excuses later, but no excuses there. You'll see. But I do go for the Will-O-Wisp now, completely neutering and mitigating the effectiveness of this Metagross. And going to my Heatran here, I didn't think he was going to Earthquake, so I figured it was a necessarily good play, and it wouldn't necessarily also give away my Scarf. So, he's going to go for a Meteor Mesh here. It's going to do absolutely nothing. He won't be able to get any sort of damage calcs off that because it's so small, and I'm just going to be able to fire off a Lava Plume and actually kill this Metagross. So right away, we are down 5-6. Now, I am Choice Scarf locked into Lava Plume. Now, I thought he would go into Drampa here, but he actually goes into Scolipede. And this is really good for me because I can just click Lava Plume here, and it's a no-risk play, and it works absolutely fine. And then I see he outspeeds me and go for Earthquake. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I speed crept Scolipede. Check the team builder. Like, I totally did. What's going on? This thing must be a Scarf speed boost Scolipede? What the hell? And then I look, and it reveals Life Orb. And I'm like, I'm so confused. So, during this point in the game, I'm running the timer and running back to see what happened, and it turns out I brought the wrong fucking Heatran to the game. I just picked the wrong one out of my box. So turns out I thought I had what I had and I didn't, and that's not me blaming Shay or anything like that. It's completely on me and me being an idiot. So here I am, just completely flustered out of my mind. I knew I was taking a timer to each of these moves, and I was so confused on what was going on that I sort of just hit Fire Punch because I was like, there's a Scolipede in front of me. In hindsight, I think Iron Head was actually a very obvious play there that I could have acted on, but I was just so flustered from that point in the game. I was like, oh my god. And then I stay in, completely forgetting about Psyshock because I'm still sort of on the edge and flustered here, and he goes for Psyshock, and I'm like, oh my god, of fucking course. Like, yes, this thing gets Psyshock. Like, my mindset was just like, I take a Hyper Voice and I'll kill this thing back and figure out what's going on. And I'm just sort of like, okay, fuck the Heatran, it's over now, whatever, gotta get back in this game. But now that Hariyama is gone, I just can't answer this Rotom-MOW anymore. So things are slowly collapsing within the first 10 minutes of the game with me just bringing the wrong freaking Heatran set, which was honestly somewhat of a win con in the end, and then me losing my check to what has now become his win con has definitely scared me. Now seeing that this Drampa wants to come in on my Kartana and start sort of being a Fizdef set, I'm starting to realize that Kartana isn't going to be as effective as a cleaner either, especially given the fact that he does have presumably a Scarf Rotom back, presumably with HP Fire. So we're going to have to try and see what we can possibly do here. At this point in the game, I'm sort of just thinking to myself, okay, I think this is over unless Shay makes a big choke. And I think how I need to play this game now is I need to play this game in a way where I am sort of playing very defensively, I'm stalling, and I'm waiting for him to make a play that can give me an opening to try and make this game a little bit even again. I think that if Shay was really, really good here, he would be, I don't mean good as in like, he's playing bad, but I mean, if Shay really, really wanted to here, he could make a series of plays that could really just get him a 5-0 win here, given that a lot of my mons are being really chipped down. I've lost a lot of counters just by me sort of being all flustered by the mistakes and all this stuff, and it totally happens. And it's the thing about Wi-Fi where it's like you got to get all the right mons, you got to gen correctly, all this shit. I actually thought I had misgened was my first original issue, so I was beating myself up during the game for it. But thankfully, the Gardevoir comes in, and I'm able to Thunder Wave it, and alright, this is what I'm looking for. He's giving me his Gardevoir, thinking that I don't have anything like Thunder Wave or anything like that, and he's giving me his Gardevoir here. So me paralyzing Gardevoir is actually massive and huge. Now, the plan is to sort of just soft-boiled stall on this Gardevoir until, until it gets fully paralyzed. But he actually just goes into Scolipede, and I have the Tanga Berry, and it turns out he doesn't even have Mega Horn. He has X Scissor, so it's going to do about, I'd say about 30% of what I have right now. Yep, 30% right there. And I'm actually able to fire back with the Psychic. So it's actually during this game that I'm sort of realizing, okay, he's given me a Para on his Mega Gardevoir, and he's given me a Scolipede, which was arguably the biggest threat to my team. So, you know, maybe I actually have a chance here. Obviously, this Rotom is still a huge threat. And the big issue with this here is that, you know, now that this comes in and has Thunderbolt, I don't really have any good switch-ins for it. Like, frankly, my play is to, you know, at this point I have Kartana, I have Suicune, and I have Aerodactyl. So I obviously can't go Aerodactyl, and I obviously can't go Kartana because I need as much health. So my plan is going to Suicune, and the plan is to go for Toxic, right? That's the best move to go for here. And try and get myself in a position where late game I can be Stally and all this shit, and I can, you know, try and whittle this Rotom down in the best way possible. Unfortunately, he's very smart to not stay in and Thunderbolt right away. My basic hope in terms of winning that exchange was that he just stays in and goes for damage. He does not, because he recognizes that, you know, ROTOM-MOW is a valuable asset against my team, and I do have to stay in because I, once again, only have Aerodactyl and Kartana at this point, which is a massive issue. I can't switch in Hyper Voice anymore, which means I'm going to have to Scald this Gardevoir. Thankfully, I do take it out. I was pretty sure it was a pretty strong chance at a 2-hit KO here. However, pretty much far behind. Shay has basically gotten me here. I'm in a position where, because I sacked my Harion, because I sacked my check to this thing, I don't have much I can do here. I can see what he locks himself into by going for Protect, which will help out quite a bit as he does go for the Leaf Storm. And the fact he goes for a Leaf Storm is pretty nice. Bear in mind he does have Rocks up, so I can't necessarily go Aerodactyl. And I really wish I had Roost on Aerodactyl as well, though I guess it wouldn't have mattered at this point in the game. However, I do go into my Kartana. This is still going to do a hefty chunk out of my Kartana. I'd say about 45% if I remember correctly. But still, you know, it's sort of my only play. I can't leave Suicune in and let it die. Otherwise, I just sort of straight up lose the game. So I do have the ability to at least force this Rotom out. Now, my second hope in winning is that he stays in and just goes for another Leaf Storm. He does not. And I just go for a knockoff here, revealing to me that this Mon is Choppleberry. Now, I have to look at my team and say, okay, is there anything that I can go for here that, you know, might secure me a win? I can't go for Aerodactyl. I don't have recovery, so there's no reason to. And, you know, Suicune will probably take a good amount of damage if he comes in on Dragon Pulse. He could have Hyper Voice, which would ruin a sub-protect strategy. And on top of that, you know, Kartana necessarily doesn't have as much value anymore because it dies to anything the Rotom goes for, whether it be Thunderbolt or Leaf Storm or anything. So I realized that my best option is to really just go for Differential here and, you know, get this thing in range of my Mega Aerodactyl and sort of just go into my Mega Aerodactyl. And here I'm basically just going for game in the sense that my win con at this point is hoping that Shay has been bluffing a Scarfed Rotom this entire time and is just max special attack for some reason. Seriously doubt it, but you know, that's sort of what I have to play for, because at this point, Choice Scarf wins no matter what. I can't play around it. There's nothing I can do. And he does go into his Rotom here, basically telling me that he is Choice Scarf unless he wants to make another, like, a weird read for no reason whatsoever. He does reveal the Choice Scarf by outspeeding my Aerodactyl, and this will be game against Shayquaza, which means we will drop 2, 3, and 1. Now, there's a lot of things I want to say and a lot of, you know, sort of a lot of explanation that I think is important to do. However, that being said, I do just want to say before I get into all of that, that go check out Shay's channel if you don't, because Shay is honestly, in my opinion, the funniest, smartest, like, best personality content creator in this community. I genuinely think his videos, bottom of my heart, honest to God, think his videos are the highest quality in terms of commentary, and not like analytic commentary, because that's, you know, that's what I sort of strive for, because I don't think I have as great of a personality as someone like Shay does. But, you know, what his videos have is just genuine entertainment value. So, you know, we are going to lose to Shay here, and, you know, if possible, please go check out Shay, because he deserves so much more views than he gets on his videos. He deserves a lot more credit for his YouTube. He's honestly, in my opinion, one of the best content creators, if not the best content creator in this community. So, as you will see here, because I only have Suicune left, we will die to ROTOM-MOW. ROTOM-MOW does sort of do our ass in this game. And, yeah, that's going to be it. I don't get the double protect. I would have had to get about 4 in a row in order to possibly have a chance. That being said, I was going to die to a T-Bolt no matter what, actually. So it would have just come down to whether I could, you know, Toxic stall the toxic stall the Rotom. So let's talk about the game. So there's a few things that went wrong here in this game in particular. One is that I didn't make enough reads. I need to get myself in a position, and this is frankly just because I don't find myself in this situation that often. I need to get myself in a position where if I tell myself, okay, I'm definitely going to lose, I need to start making just aggressive doubles. I need to not worry about, making the safe play or just keeping the game as close as possible. If I need to make one crazy game that could cost me the game 5-0 in order to, keep the win, I got to go for that. And I think there were a couple opportunities during this game where I could have done that. I think I could have been in a position where I, raw psychicked on the Scolipede switch-in from Gardevoir. I think there's a situation where I could have done a little bit of things here and there. I think early game, even before the Heatran thing happened, one thing that I definitely could have done was, just gone for Will-O-Wisp on the Metagross switch-in to save me a turn. Another thing that I think I could have done, obviously this was me flustered after I brought the wrong Heatran set, was I could have 100% in hindsight predicted that Gardevoir switch into my Hariyama, because he really, after Metagross going down, had no responses to a Hariyama offensively, and really Gardevoir was his only choice, and really because he was Life Orb and because at best he had Poison Jab, which is only going to do 50%, Scolipede was 100% switching out at this moment. I think that Iron Head was 100% the play, and I think it was a play that I'd like to think I would have made had I not been so flustered, but so is the game, so is Wi-Fi. You get panicked, there's a timer, there's all these things. So, no excuses whatsoever. Shay played a phenomenal game with, a really, really solid, well-built team. The Drampa was very cool. That being said, I think given this game, think I have the chops to be able to stand up against him in a future playoff game. There's definitely a few sets that I think match up very well against his team that I didn't bring. And I really just see this as a learning opportunity and a sort of one learning opportunity to check all my mons before I go into a game, which I will never not do anymore. For some reason, I just thought the Heatran that was next to one of my other legal mons was the correct Heatran, and it wasn't. So, idiot. I'm an idiot. That being said, I don't know. That being said, I just got to figure some shit out and, not let this game get to me. It's only one loss. We are 3-1 right now. We actually still, despite beating Shay, have the best differential in the league, which is pretty good. So that's pretty nice. And, given Shay, being such an amazing player and being, honestly, in my opinion, probably the best player in this league, at least in our division, probably in this league, though. I would, if Shay won this whole league, I would not be surprised, is what I'm trying to say. So, I think, I could very well see him in finals. That could be really cool if I make it there, or just a playoff opponent in general. So, definitely some good intelligent information that I made, especially in terms of his play style. I think he plays a little bit different on Wi-Fi than he does on Showdown. I'm not going to really explain how, because I don't want him to figure it out, but that's about it. I'm going to stop rambling. I'm sorry for the loss, and I'm sorry for making excuses and things. Like I said, check out Shay because he completely deserves as many views as possible on his videos. And, we're going to bounce back next time. It's really no big deal. We got the loss. I was very frustrated at the end. I got really upset, and I think Shay got the tail end of it. I think Shay was sort of annoyed that I was upset, but I'm very sorry. But it totally happens, and it is what it is. It's Mons. People get frustrated, and I totally get it. And that's the position I was in this game. So be it. I'm going to stop rambling. That being said, thank you for watching, and we will come back in the next weeks. Hopefully, here's a push for, 7-2, 8-1. Season's not over yet, although we are at about almost the halfway point. After week 5, we will definitely be at halfway, given it's a 9-week season. So that is going to be very, very nice, and I will see you all later.